Have you ever wandered too far into the woods and felt like something was watching you? Maybe it was just your imagination. Or maybe, just maybe, you stumbled into something ancient, something that was never meant to be found. Tonight's story is not about ghosts or curses, but something far worse. A creature that doesn't haunt your home, but waits in the silence, in the soil, in the dark. This isn't just a tale of survival. It's a tale of discovery, of obsession, and the terror that follows when you see something you shouldn't have. Jason Hadley was a wildlife researcher, the kind of man who lived more in hiking boots than sneakers. After getting wind of strange animal behavior in the forests of Elk Valley, he packed his gear and headed off for what he thought would be a week of bird calls and camera traps. Elk Valley wasn't on any major map. It was dense, isolated, and untouched. Locals spoke about it with caution, not out of fear, but with an air of superstition. The woods change people, the store clerk had said cryptically as Jason bought supplies. He had chuckled then, brushing it off as small-town folklore. On his second night, deep in the woods, he heard something. Not a bear, not a coyote. It was a rasping growl, too guttural, too slow. Stopped him cold. The sound came again, closer now, but nothing moved. Not a leaf. Not a shadow. Jason turned on his thermal camera, hoping to capture a heat signature. What appeared was confusing. A figure, tall, not quite human, stood behind a tree, its shape flickering like static. When he looked up with his eyes, there was nothing. But the camera still showed it, unmoving. A sudden cold crept up his spine, not from the wind, but from something primal. He was being watched, and not by any creature known to man. Still, curiosity overtook fear. He set camp nearby, determined to get closer footage. But something had already found him first. That night, Jason barely slept. Every rustle, every snap of a twig jerked him awake. The air felt thicker, heavier. Around 3 a.m., he heard something dragging, slow, deliberate. It stopped just outside his tent. Heart pounding. He unzipped the flap an inch and peeked out. Nothing. The forest was still. Too still. No wind. No insects. Not even the usual night sounds. Then he noticed it. His camera, the one pointed at the clearing, had shifted, as if something had picked it up. He crept out with a flashlight, trying not to make a sound. The camera lay in the dirt, lens cracked, pointing toward the tree line. He turned to scan the forest, and that's when he saw it. Creature. Towering, sinewy, with limbs just a bit too long. Its skin looked like damp bark, blending seamlessly into the forest. No eyes. Just deep pits where they should be. Jason froze. The creature didn't move. Didn't breathe. Just stared, if you could call it that. And then it smiled. A gaping maw split across its face, revealing rows of teeth that shimmered like wet glass. The flashlight slipped from Jason's hand and hit the ground. In that instant, the creature bolted. Not at him but away, deeper into the forest. Vanished like mist. Jason stood there, shaking, breath ragged. Had he imagined it? Hallucinated? But no. The camera had recorded it. He rewound the broken footage and there it was, frame by frame. The creature stepping out from the shadows. Butching. Smiling. Leaving no tracks. No sound. Jason should have left then. But instead he whispered into the silence. "What are you?" And from somewhere beyond the trees, it answered. Jason returned to town the next morning, pale and sleep-deprived, clutching his damaged equipment. But instead of warning others or leaving Elk Valley, he checked into a motel and began analyzing the footage obsessively. Frame by frame, second by second, he studied the blurry figure. He enhanced the images, compared it to known species, scoured scientific forums, but nothing matched. This thing wasn't an animal. It wasn't human. It was something else entirely. He uploaded stills to obscure cryptid forums. The replies were dismissive at first. Photoshopped, they said. But then one message came through, private and direct. You saw it. The hollow. The sender, only known as Elderroot, claimed to have seen it too. It's not a creature, the message read. It's a part of the forest. Sentinel. When it watches you, it learns. And when it learns, it follows. Jason didn't believe it, not fully. But he couldn't stop thinking about it. He went back into the forest, this time armed with motion sensors, more cameras and trail markers. He stayed 3 nights, then 5. He began to hear it more often. Whispers in the wind, low clicking noises that echoed through the trees. He found dead animals placed near his tent in symmetrical patterns. Symbols carved into bark that hadn't been there the day before. Sleep became rare. Eating felt like a chore. Jason wasn't just documenting anymore. He was hunting it. But each night it got bolder, closer. Until the last night, when he woke to find the trail markers rearranged, forming a perfect circle around his tent. And this time, he wasn't alone inside. Jason stumbled out of the tent, breath shallow, flashlight trembling in his grip. The air buzzed with static, like a charged silence before lightning. The woods looked wrong, trees twisted at unnatural angles, ground pulsing subtly beneath his feet. He turned, expecting to see the creature outside. But what he saw chilled him to the core. It was him. Another Jason stood just feet away, expression blank, clothes matching his own, skin slightly off. Like it had been copied but not perfectly. The doppelganger blinked, then smiled. The same terrible grin the creature had shown. Jason backed away. "This isn't real," he muttered. The double tilted its head. Then, in a voice slightly distorted, it said, "You asked what I am." Jason ran. Blindly. Branches tore at his face. Roots snagged his boots. But he didn't stop until the forest abruptly ended. And he was back in town. But something was wrong. He rushed into the motel. The clerk didn't recognize him. His room wasn't booked. The laptop he'd left was gone. His footage, his notes, vanished. Even stranger, when he checked the forums, his posts weren't there. Elder Root didn't exist. His account had no history. Panicked, he asked around, but no one remembered him arriving in town. It was as if he'd never been there. He stared at his reflection in the restroom mirror. His face looked paler, stretched. His eyes just slightly too deep. In that moment he understood. The creature hadn't killed him. It had replaced him. Jason, or the thing wearing his face, lives among us now. He returned home. His friends and colleagues welcomed him back, but they noticed something was different. He didn't laugh the same. Didn't blink as much. Sometimes he'd stand motionless for hours, just listening. He gave up his research. Burned his notes. Refused to talk about the forest ever again. But every now and then he'd disappear for a few days. When asked, he'd just say, "Fieldwork." No one questioned it. One day, his former assistant received a package. Inside was a flash drive and a handwritten note. "Don't follow me. Burn this after watching." Curiosity got the better of him. The footage showed Jason walking deep into Elk Valley, setting up a final camera. Then darkness. The screen flickered. Shapes moved in the shadows. Whispers. And then static. Before it cut off, a voice, Jason's, spoke one last time. "It's not just in the woods anymore." No one saw him again after that. Some say he's still out there, part of the forest now, waiting for others who wander too far. Others believe the creature used him to cross into our world, wearing his skin, learning, watching. And if you're ever out camping and you see someone who looks familiar but feels wrong, don't speak. Don't stare. Because it already knows you. And once it knows you, it follows. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Would you dare venture into Elk Valley alone?